Well, he's out of Minneapolis, Kansas, and he pilots Sunoco IMCA Hobby Stock number 77. We're talking about the one they call Meatloaf, Cody Williams. He's next on the Beyond the Flags podcast, and in this episode, we're going to learn about his journey becoming a race car driver and going to the heights of a four-time Kansas State champion. In 2024, over 30 wins in Speedway Motors IMCA weekly action, including the IMCA TV Winter Nationals title and the first time ever track championships at Dodge City Raceway Park and Salina Speedway in his native Kansas. That's coming up next. But before we get to the interview, make sure wherever you're listening or watching from, you hit the like button and subscribe so that you don't miss out on future episodes. Well, our first guest from the state of Kansas, representing the city of Minneapolis, it's Cody Williams. Cody, great to have you here on the Beyond the Flags podcast.
It's nice to be on here also.
Well, 2024, a very, very strong year for you and your race team. 2 track championships and a series championship in Sunoco IMCA Hobby Stock action, winning the IMCA TV Winter Nationals at Cocopah Speedway earlier this year, back in January. Feels like a whole year ago. And then track titles at Dodge City Raceway Park, along with Salina Speedway in your native Kansas.
Yeah, we had a really good year. It was one of them years we dreamed of, and we definitely, capped it off. We were just short of the national title. Also, we tied for national points. So,
I was going to say, a very exciting hobby stock battle between yourself, Mike Smith, and Corey Probst, where it was pretty much a 3-horse race there in the final weeks, and really was some exciting stuff to watch.
Yeah, it all come down to, if I'd have won one more race, we'd won the national title. 2, I lost to Mike Smith by a 3rd place finish. So it was really close. So,
well, you started the year off very well at Cocopah Speedway, picking up 3 wins and ultimately the championship for the Winter Nationals, and that was a highly competitive affair too, because obviously you won the championship, but there was a lot of top contenders there and a lot of fast cars throughout the couple weeks.
Yeah, the Winter Nationals was definitely one of my highlights of the year. It was as tough as it's ever been down there this last year, and there's to get a race against some of the cars in the southern region, on their turf. To win that, I felt pretty good. So,
and it, like you said, Thomas Daffern was like the man in 2023. He's always a tough customer. And then you got Dylan Richards, former national champion from Beatrice, coming in. You couple that with like the rising talent of someone, say Pace Herrera, and the hobby stocks have really been enjoyable to watch, and I think have been attracting a lot of viewers on IMCA TV of checking out hobby stock racing, not just at Winter Nationals, but even on the local scene as well, which is really cool, and getting some, what I think is really some good due respect.
Yes, and like to watch, that Nathan Dragan, to watch the year he had down there in Arizona was incredible. I wish he'd have come to Super Nationals, just because he was having a really good year, and he's definitely going to be one that's going to be hard to contend with again this coming in January. So
yes, and of course, anybody with the last name Olmstead is tough, whether they're down there or at Super Nationals, or even if they make a trip to Kansas.
Yeah. The Olmsteads are always very, very tough. All the brothers, they're all good. There's a lot of good, tough customers down there. We also had the couple people from Minnesota and Eric Knudsen, and the Lewinenberg, and there was some really good cars down there.
Yeah. Yes. 2024, obviously we're talking about Winter Nationals a lot, but winning track titles for the first time at Salina Speedway and Dodge City Raceway Park has to be a major accomplishment and feel awesome. You know, Salina's not too far from Minneapolis. I know a lot of historical success at Sherman County Speedway in Goodland on the west end of the state. 4 track titles there but to get one at DCRP in a nearby Salina, that's got to feel like a great accomplishment in your book.
Yeah, I've run second at Salina several times to 3 different people, you know, and it's always eluded me, so I felt really good to finally get one there. Dodge City, we've never tried for it up until this year, and I only lost 1 race there that I actually raced. I had a DNS just like the 2nd or 3rd race of the year. I broke a training when we didn't even make it out for the heat race, and we played catch up all year, and we came down to last night, and I actually believe we tied in points, or I won by 1 point, but I was down by 22 or 23 points after the second night, and we came back and won it, and I did not lose a race there.
Wow,
which is pretty cool.
That's good. I mean, 20 points is like almost 200 in other series. I feel like with the way the point drop is, and it's dependent on how many cars show up too. So you're not exactly sure how much you're able to gain or even make up.
Yep. And we won several races at Salina. I don't think we ever run outside the top 3 at Salina ourselves. So that was pretty cool too.
Well, in Kansas 2024, a special year too, with a couple of tracks coming back in the fold under IMCA sanctioning, Waukegan Speedway and Salt City Racing, but in Hutchinson, that had to been a big deal.
Yes, they actually only run 1 hobby stock race at Hutch, and then no one else showed up because the car count, because we raced the line on Friday nights. But that'll change for this next year. But as of right now, I'm the only feature winner at Salt City Raceway Park.
Hey, there you go. So respect the stat, right?
Yep. First ever one that was in a hobby there, so that's pretty cool.
I mean, and it's just showing good. It's always a good thing when tracks are being added. I know it kind of may be a headache for promoters for fixture congestions and scheduling and stuff. However, more chessboards to play on is always a good thing and gives opportunities for folks in that local area to build a base of cars that run there, and then on off weekends go and travel to some other places.
Yep. We also have really close here, like in Cordia. We have some pretty good, tracks. I travel a lot though, and I'm not afraid to travel. I have a pretty cool stat. I think I won in 4 or 5 states this year, just myself. So that was pretty cool. Yeah.
Well, and then we were talking at Super Nationals. It doesn't reflect on my race pass, but you won the fair special at Osborne in the dead heat of the summer in late July.
Yeah. So that was another one of my first this year. Is I've never won on a half mile special like that. I've run second. I've like 19 times at the fair specials, and I won the first time at Osborne this year. So that was really cool. I won the first time in the state of Iowa this year at Marshalltown. I won Keegan High Banks this spring. So I had a lot of firsts this year. I had a lot of racetracks I won at for the first time. A lot of things I did for the first time. So
that's totally awesome. Well,
I won Beatrice Spring Nationals. That was another big one. I've barely even run in the top 10 at the spring special there, and we won that for the first time this year also. So,
well, I was gonna say, like, your winter started off great, obviously in Yuma, and then it didn't really cool down or anything when the spring came around because you were clicking off wins, and then by the time Salina got going, I was looking like in May, like you won 4, maybe 5 races in a row.
Yes, we were clicking some off quite a bit there, and then we got claimed. And we came back the following week right after we got claimed and won again on a crate motor. So
that's awesome. Well, you talk about Salina for folks that don't know about that place. Now, is that the one? I haven't went there yet because I'd love to go to see some racing in Kansas firsthand. Is that the one that is kind of like Darlington, where like one side is tighter and the other one is wider as far as the corners?
Yes, okay. It is.
And then you got Concordia, which is a small, what would you categorize it as, a small bull ring half mile?
Nah, it's as tiny as you can come. I mean, a go-kart track's about as big as that place.
Okay.
10 cars. 10 cars, you can now be bumper to bumper all the way around. It's definitely tiny.
Interesting. Interesting. But it's banked, right? It used to be called.
Yeah, it has a little bank to it.
Used to be called Concordia High Banks. Now I think they just call it Concordia Raceway. So, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a track out here that's pretty small that's considered a go-kart track, but it can be, I mean, given, the right circumstances, which is more often than not, it can be really racing. It's a lot of fun to watch. Sunset Speedway Park in Banks. It's
even about half the size of Boone.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah,
nice.
It's tiny.
Well, we talked about 2024, but obviously you've been racing for a bit. You're 4-time state champion for the state of Kansas. You won the 2017 Kansas Thunder Series that used to be around. How did everything start for you in your racing career?
My grandpa raced, and then my dad raced. I grew up racing go-karts. I was actually talking to Caden Carter about that last weekend at Springfield down at the Turkey Bowl. We were talking about all the people that came out of the go-karts. So that was a big part of my, success is we started racing go-karts when we were kids.
Okay. And then when did you make the jump into Speedway Motors IMCA Weekly Racing?
2009.
Okay.
And I've been in a hobby stock. I've been in a sport mod, a stock car. And that's the classes I've been in IMCA.
And you occasionally run a sport mod every now and then these days, correct?
Yes. I think I ran one 6 times. I own the car that Tyler Fry drives. I didn't run out of the top 5 with it at all, so I had a lot of fun with it.
Okay. Yeah. Well, and for folks that are listening that maybe have never seen, or I shouldn't say never seen because it's unforgettable, but are like, wait, do I know this guy? Is you've got a unique package when it comes to your body for hobby stock. It's kind of got like a fastback look to it, but it's also wrapped up like a tribute to Lightning McQueen. So it's kind of a great combination.
Yes, we had Lightning McQueen, and then we kind of changed it at the end of the year, but we had Lightning McQueen, and that got a lot of looks, especially when we were winning like we were. Mm-hmm. And we will be bringing Lightning McQueen back. It'll probably going to do the opposite this year, start without Lightning, and then end the year with Lightning at Boone. Just for the fans. Everybody's asking us to bring it back.
Sure. Well, and what was the inspiration with the hatchback kind of look? Sort of I don't know, the only other real one that I can think of off the top of my head is like Elijah Zevenbergen in the stock cars sort of having that look for so many years.
Eric Stanton had one for several years. When I started racing, BJ Dower had one, and down here in Kansas, and I always wanted to have one, so I ended up with one of his old cars to start with, and that's kind of where I got the hatchback. I think it was 2014, and I've had one since.
Are you looking to find that adrenaline rush, but you can't because you're not at the racetrack? Well, check out the IMCA TV Replay subscription library to have access to thousands of hours of racing for just $24.99 a month. Relive all the moments of the Speedway Motors IMCA Super Nationals fueled by Casey's at Boone Speedway, the Harris Clash at Deer Creek Speedway in Spring Valley, Minnesota, the IMCA TV Winter Nationals at Cocopah Speedway in Somerton, Arizona, Florida's Clash on the Coast, and dozens of Speedway Motors IMCA weekly racing program racetracks from across the nation, as well as the IMCA TV Dirtcast podcast. Plus, 25% of that $24.99 monthly fee goes towards the Drivers Point Fund and is a great way to help out your local racers. In 2023, over $97,000 was paid out to IMCA drivers directly at over 50 racetracks across the country. Please note that live broadcasts are not part of the replay subscription. That's IMCA TV. IMCA TV, where America comes to watch racing. Well, all the years that I've seen you race and known you, 77 has been your number. Is there a story behind selecting that number for you?
Grandpa and my dad both had 77.
Okay. And any idea if there's a background story to that, or is that just like a favorite number of theirs?
No, just being a family number. That's just kind of what we stuck with.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you live in Minneapolis, and it's actually like almost smack dab in between Salina and Concordia, on 81 there. For folks that have never been in that area, what are some great things to see and do beside, maybe they're in for the weekend at a big race in that neighboring area? What are some cool things to do either in Minneapolis or in Salina or on that 81 corridor?
Salina has go-karts, indoor go-karts. That's pretty fun. Minneapolis doesn't have a whole lot. Minneapolis is known. They did have a really nice racetrack here for years. And it shut down, but there's not a lot to do, but Salina does have the indoor go-karts. So
okay, yeah. I was thinking I was working with your friend Tanner Schmidt at the showdown in Casa Grande, and I was doing some research, and there was somebody, I pulled a stat, and it's like this guy won at Minneapolis Raceway. Well, he lives in Beatrice. Adam Armstrong.
Yep.
And I was like, hey, I need to double check you with something. I got a guy from Nebraska, and Tanner's the guy at RPM Speedway in Hayes. I'm like, is this real? Is this the same guy, or is it two different people? He's like, no, that's the same guy and everything. Okay. And like he won Race of Champions at Super Nationals, and actually won the Harris Clash and the Sport Mods too. And then I'm like, Minneapolis used to have a racetrack? He's like, yeah, at one point he did. And Adam was the 2011 track champion.
Yep. Yep. I remember Adam winning the track champion there. He got claimed a couple times. So
okay. Yeah. And is that a place where it's kind of done, like it would never be able to be resurrected, or is there some bones there where if somebody got a wild idea, it might happen?
It's done. A couple years ago, they kind of thought about bringing it back, but now they've sold, like, the scoreboard is off at Salina. I think the catwalk as at Fairbury at Jefferson County Speedway in Fairbury, Nebraska. So the bleachers are up there. So it's pretty well done for us. So
that's too bad. But I'm glad that you're still racing, because when tracks go away, some of that base of racers that are based out of there, they'll go kind of venture off for a little bit and then kind of peter out a little bit, because it's always an away game.
Yep, we're getting ready to go hard for it again this next year. So
pretty much same stuff for you. Going to try and hit Winter Nationals and the Spring Nationals at Beatrice and hit Kansas hard.
Yeah, we're going to. Everything's not set in stone yet. We will have a late model to play with between Tyler and I. We got rid of the Sport Mod. And then I'm going to hit Winter Nationals, Spring Nationals. We're going to hit some of the money stuff around here and chase some money races. And we're going to see July where we're sitting for national points-wise, if we're going to, pursue it. But I'm not going to set out to say that I'm going to run for it. Mm-hmm. But if we're clicking off races like we were this year, we definitely will.
Sure.
So we're looking at doing the Dakota Tour.
Okay.
The tougher than dirt tour this next year for dang sure. So
yeah, that's well, and we were talking about good guys out of Nebraska and Minnesota and Iowa, but there's a crop of good guys up there too, like Kyle Satrin and the Grinstads, and there's a formidable force up there, the guys that are based out of Estevan, Saskatchewan, and all throughout the state of North Dakota.
Yep, the Raynards and everything. I've raced with them at Hayes several times.
Oh yeah,
got to know them, and Tyler comes down, and then Taylor Heaton is pretty good up there. We're teaming up with him this year and building him a car. So that's the reason we're going to be up in North Dakota.
Oh, that's awesome. And he's from Baker, Montana, right? Number 11.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
He had I want to think he won the Cole Country Classic or Cole County Classic at Underwood, and he had a really good later part of the season, it seemed like, and was rolling rolling really good at Williston, and I think clicked off some ones at Dickinson too.
Yep, we got him on my shock package. I designed the SB shock package, and he got on them and got to clicking off some wins. So he's going to be pretty good in a new car. So.
Good, man. Yeah, you're going to be covering all the chessboards from almost to the Mexican border to the Canadian border and beyond. So. Yep.
Well, I have in the back of my mind that I want to do the Frostbusters. I run one of those last year. We're just going to have to see how we start the year. We are going to be in a brand new car, so getting it figured out, seeing how it goes is we'll see how that goes. So
yes, and of course Super Nationals. I mean that's the bull elk, the bull moose, the whatever bourgeois cliche you want to throw out there. That's what everybody's running and gunning for, and to get that one is big. And I know for you guys that would be that's a big target to hit.
Yes, especially after this year. I wish I had a caution. I think I had a really good chance at it. I came from 16th to second, or 15th to second. I had a really, really good strong run there, and I'm ready to go back and get some redemption.
No doubt. Folks that you like, I know family's a big deal with your operation. Individuals that you want to thank, as well as some of the great sponsors that have been able for you to allow you to go and travel to all these races and get all this experience and venture to all these new tracks.
Yeah, we had 4 foster kids that we adopted. That was really cool. And then Michaela, definitely couldn't do without her. Sometimes I leave and the kids are here. Then I have my mom and dad, but I have a ton of sponsors to thank, and I'm going to forget some, and I'm sorry if I do. I have S&M Repair. I have Blake Spear. Couldn't do it without that guy. He does a lot for me. My crew, Kevin, Branston, Tyler Fry. There's so many people that I got to thank there. Swift Springs, the SB, Garber Tool and Supply, the Heat and Transport. There's, Precision Hydraulic and Oil. Augie's Repair and Towing. Cameron Gruber keeps my cars looking good with his draft company, Bulletproof Designs. There's a lot of people I got to thank. Coombs Trucking. Bedore Racing Products. Heim Body Shop. And Minneapolis Refuse Service with the Hardesties. They were really big into racing from Minneapolis here, so I got to thank all them guys.
And for folks that want to support you and your race team, is there a good social media page or a website? Or I know that last year at Super Nationals you guys had some apparel. Is there a way that folks can contribute that way or follow along like your schedule or results?
Yeah, they can message me personally on Facebook. I could get their apparel. We don't really have a website, but as much as I do have a Williams Motorsports, there is a Facebook page. Williams Motorsports, we try to keep up. There is, then you can look at me personally, but, watch at a lot of the local racetracks and, or come to the racetrack and we will have the apparel on hand with us at the races.
Awesome. Well, something I forgot to ask. Meatloaf is your nickname. How did that come into place?
Oh boy.
Is that a story fit for radio?
Yes.
Okay.
It is fit. We were had a race in Iowa, and I had a roommate at the time, and Eric Cross from Salina, he just come up with it to the announcer and said, "Call him Meatloaf." and like, hey, Ma, where's my meatloaf? And it was about my roommate. Like, he was to be my, maid type thing. He,
Sure.
that was like, Ma, where's your meatloaf? And that's, it literally stuck on IMCA TV that night with Jerry Van Sickle, and it was over with.
There you go.
I've been called it since, and I'm not a huge fan of meatloaf.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I thought it might have been something to do. It was either that or the band, or I was like, well,
I didn't even know there was a band at the time. I literally learned a couple years ago that Meatloaf died, and I didn't even know that was a thing.
Sure, yeah. Hopefully you weren't getting, I'm sorry, I'm going to miss you texts or anything like that.
Oh, I did. I get a few. That's how I knew he died.
Oh, boy. Yeah. Yeah, well, maybe there's some royalties that are accidentally coming your way too. So, yeah. Well, that's awesome. Well, Cody, it's really been great to know you over the last couple years, especially last year down in Yuma, and really looking forward to see you at Winter Nationals in Casa Grande. I hope that you and the family have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and obviously that 2025 goes splendid, and that it's a wonderful racing campaign for you guys and your team.
We're looking forward to it. I really hope we can pull it in victory lane at Winter Nationals like we did this last year. The flag man and I always had a joke that we were going to fight on the front stretch, and I'm going to take him up for it this year. So that's my goal, is to get in victory lane and so we can fight on the front stretch. That's what I told him at Boone again.
You and Zach?
So, yeah, the guy.
Zach Heidebrink. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Well, now that I know that, I'm going to get posters made and have tickets sold. So. Nice. IMCA TV After Dark.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, again, we hope that Thanksgiving goes well as the rest of the holidays, and we'll be seeing each other soon in a little over a month.
That'll be awesome.
Well, race fans, that does it for this interview. We hope you enjoyed it, and we hope that you continue to enjoy these upcoming interviews. We appreciate it if you would like and subscribe wherever you're listening, whether it's on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, wherever it's at. Give us a like and give us a subscription so that we can deliver more of these great interviews to you for your listening pleasure. In the meantime, wherever we're at, wherever you're listening, we hope you have a great rest of your day and a pleasant evening, and we will see you soon here at Highside Racing Promotions.